A bill aimed at boosting funding for crime victim services could help keep critical trauma therapy services in place. It now awaits the governor's signature after passing through the House and Senate.
KRDO News Channel 13 Cindy Santafanti explains how this will help Coloradans who fall victim to crime.
Because of COVID, much of the business in the court system was halted for almost a year. Now the Colorado Organization for Victim Services, otherwise known as CAVA, says that many of our community-based advocacy centers are struggling from a lack of funding. But if this bill and the funding gets passed, this will really be a big help for many of those organizations that deal with crime victim services.
A new bill aims to add millions of dollars in funding to ensure crime victims in the state continue to receive the support they need. It was 2016 when advocates say the crime victim services in Colorado began to see a dramatic decrease in funds.
At the federal level, we have something called the Victims of Crime Act Fund, and that's when primarily corporate, like big corporate wrongdoers, end up getting criminal penalties, and they pay fines and fees into what's called the VOCA fund.
Sterling Harris, the public policy director for COVA, says there was an increase in non-prosecution agreements, which resulted in fewer fines going into the Victims of Crime Act Fund, a fund that helps keep community-based advocacy centers up and running to help victims of crime deal with their trauma.
Unfortunately, what we were seeing was state grants, those federal grants to the states, had plummeted anywhere from like 40 to 60%. We knew that in Colorado, victim service agencies were going to experience about 41% cuts.
On top of all that, money that goes towards victim services through the Victim and Law Enforcement Grant is paid for through fining convicted criminals. That fund plummeted when the court shut down during the pandemic.
This coincided with a huge wave of crime victimization. Domestic violence cases spiked. We've had some folks refer to what's happening in Colorado as a crime tsunami. And so anytime you see a violent crime, there's always going to be at least one victim that's attached to that. And so we knew that starting in 2023, if we didn't do something, victim service agencies, the bottom was literally going to fall out.
And so Harris, along with other advocates for crime victim agencies, pushed for legislators to take action. Lawmakers passed Senate Bill 22-183. It aims to provide a total of $48 million in new funding.
What this money is going to mean is domestic violence shelters don't have to cut their staff. Rape crisis programs are going to, who already have tremendous waiting lists for things like therapy, are going to at least be able to continue to meet the demand the best that they can.
The next step for this bill is awaiting Governor Jared Polis's signature. If he signs this into law, it's expected to be signed sometime this summer. For now, reporting from the Mesa Overlook, Cindy Santafanti for KRDO News Channel 13.